Doon, 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 doon. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rethinking Reality, episode 15. This is the podcast where I talk about the universe. This is the podcast where I talk about various aspects of the universe. This is the podcast where I talk about various aspects of reality and things that might make you scratch your head. I know that took me 3 times to do, but I don't even care, man, because we just go with the flow. No editing, except for the very beginning and very end. And we just go with it, man. I don't know if my audio levels are great. hold on. Is that a bit louder? Hopefully so. That should be even louder. I don't even know, man. Steven Crowder, even louder. Anyway, today we are looking at this book. That was a thumbnail. That's what I had to get the thumbnail. This book, now it's in focus, called The Behavior Ops Manual by Chase Hughes. C. Hughes. And there's a freaking whatever. There's the back of it. I finally freaking finished this book today, man. It took a long time, but we did it, and still feel like I'm too quiet. And feels good to finally finish the book. Took a while to read. I don't know, 2 weeks. Usually it takes me, it depends on the book. I read Power of Habit in 2 days, 3 days. It's like 300 pages. I don't even know. Anyway, I've read a couple books within a day that are like under 250 pages. Or, yeah, like right around 200 pages. Anyway, but I think this book took me around 2 weeks to read, roughly 2 weeks. And so we're just going to talk about it. You know, this is what I do. I review books as well as talk about ideas on this podcast. So that's what we're going to do. So I actually have no points here. I'll pull up my essay app or the site essay on my computer, not the app, and I'll have a list of points that I go through to talk about. So I'm not just winging it, impromptuing everything. I don't know what impromptuing means, but, well, I know what it means, but it's not a word. Anyway, I digress. Let's start with, what is this book about? What's it even about? Well, it's all about human behavior, influence, and persuasion, I would say. And it goes in depth into neuroscience. I could read you like the table of contents, but I'm not going to. It goes in depth into the neuroscience of influence and persuasion, as well as what makes someone truly influential. And there's a plethora of techniques, tactics, methods within this book. And the book stresses that there are no tricks. There are no tricks to making someone do something you want them to do, or making someone do something that they want to do but are unable to. Like, for example, if someone wants to quit an addiction but they feel like they can't, this book teaches you how to help that person overcome that issue. And so, yeah, there's a lot within this book. I mean, it's about 725 pages of actual content. That's not including the bibliography or references, but everything else except for the whatchamacallit, table of contents. It's 725 pages. I counted. It's very close to that, if not exactly that. And that also doesn't include the notes. There's a notes section at the end, which I like. Haven't used them yet, but I probably will almost definitely at some point. And that's about 20 pages, something like that, or 30. Let's see, yeah, because, let's see. It's until 785. So that's more than free. It's 40 pages. There's 40 pages of notes, not 20, 40. So yeah, this book is meant to be the way Chase describes this book is it's meant to be your mentor, a reference, and a teacher, I guess, essentially. And yeah, what else is in this book? There are like I said, a plethora of techniques in this book, but Chase emphasizes the importance of getting the basics down first. The book starts with, I think, at least towards the beginning of the book, it talks about self-management and how important owning your life and getting your acts together is when it comes to influence and persuasion. There's a diagram, I guess you would call it. It's a circle towards the beginning of the book, or within the first 50 or 100 pages, which says that persuasion is, I think it's 85% who you are, 10% what you do, and 5% who the other person is. I think that's very true and very accurate graph or diagram. I think that's what you call it, a diagram. And so, yeah, Chase emphasizes several times throughout the book that though it's tempting to just take some of the techniques and just try to apply them without mastering the self-management aspect of influence, that's really not a good idea. Like, while that's tempting, it's really not a good idea because chances are you won't get results, or if you get results, well, you won't be able to replicate them, and you'll just end up frustrated and wondering, why doesn't this work? So, yeah, it's important. Basics are everything. I have that written on my whiteboard over there. It says it's all in the basics. So anyway, but yeah, what else does this book talk about? Yeah, there's many diagrams and I guess visual representations of the techniques. There's many models within this book that Chase has created, and they're all pretty cool, I think, and useful. His best one might be the behavior table of elements. And so, yeah, I want to use that in my videos at some point if I do behavior analysis videos, if I start making those videos. Whether it's me recording social interactions, then analyzing behavior, or reacting to videos that are already on the internet. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, the book starts with, well, essentially why Chase is the person he is today. And I think section 2 talks about neuroscience, and he goes pretty deep into brain cells, different types of brain cells, glial cells, I think, or is that one of them? Anyway, he even has like a picture of a brain cell with the different parts labeled, so like dendrites, axons, myelin sheath, the actual cell or the neuron, and yeah, several different things. I need to memorize all that technical stuff, but yeah, and so yeah, this book goes into a lot of various things. I don't know how else to put it. And I will say, so I want to compare this book to Chase's other 2 books on behavior profiling / influence, which are 6-Minute X-Ray and the Ellipsis Manual. This book, I will say, is a lot less. He doesn't promise as much. Well, no, that's not true. But Chase doesn't emphasize just how powerful these techniques are as much as he does in 6-Minute X-Ray or the Ellipsis Manual. Now, he still does, but at least not as much as he does in 6-Minute X-Ray. But yeah, a lot of people say that Chase like sounds like a salesman. He's just trying to use salesman tactics and stuff to get you to purchase his courses or buy his books, which may be true, but what I'm gonna say is I learned a crap ton from this book. I'm gonna continue learning from it. Honestly, like I may I've thought about this. I actually might end up like memorizing this entire book. I don't know. I wanna start reading more books, especially in 2025. I wanna like go uh David Goggins mode and start reading every day, like hours every day. Especially now that, well, today was my last official day for this semester of college. So I have a good period of time where I'm not in school. So I'm going to be reading more for the next several weeks. But yeah, and so I honestly might end up just straight up memorizing this book. But anyway, back to what I was saying about this book isn't as clickbaity or read baity, like trying to bait you into reading it, as his other two books that are on human behavior. Well, if you notice, the back doesn't have a list of this book will teach you this, or the front, or the side either. So that's the difference. And yeah, and I think maybe the reason for that is because Chase realizes how powerful and potentially dangerous the information contained in this book is. That's also probably why it costs $200. But honestly, it used to be more. He sold it for like 700 or 900 bucks on his website. And that's the thing is, I saw that book on his website a while back, and I was like, yeah, I'm not paying that much. Like, because I'd read 6 Minute X-Ray, and yeah, I'd read 6 Minute X-Ray, and I was like, it's a great book, but like I remember when I was looking on the website for it, and when I saw it on his website, I was like, I want that book, but like there's no way I'm paying $700 or whatever. But yeah, and then when it came out on Amazon, which is like a month and a half ago, October 30th, I was like, yo, what? 200 bucks. I was like, okay, 200 bucks. I'll pay that. I'll pay 200 bucks for this book because I bet it's worth it. And honestly, I think it is worth it. I think it's worth 200 bucks. I really do. I think it is. Now, the thing about it now, situation I guess I'm in now is that I've read this book fully. I've read virtually every single page. Again, with the exception of the bibliography and references, which are important, but like I'm not just gonna read that. It's boring. Now I need to work on applying the skills within this book, and which I'm actually kind of currently working on. Really, what I'm doing currently is going through. I just started going through the 6-month. So yeah, it's gonna take me a while to acquire all the skills in this book. The 6-month long course. The 6-month long system, for lack of a better word, that's in Chase Hughes' book 6 Minute X-Ray. So week 1 starts with seeing people in a different way. I'll just say that. And so I've started with that. So anyway, what else about this book? Oh, let's talk about. So this book is great. I've told you it's an amazing book. I learned quite a bit from it. I'm going to continue to learn from it probably over the next several years. But what's wrong with this book? This can't all be good, right? And that's correct. So I'll just say straight up, this book, I would say, these cords get stuck in there. This book is rife with errors, grammatical, formatical, it's not a word, but like formatting, maybe not formatting, but definitely grammatical errors, as well as just like there's one word that, well, I know recently because I read this today, there's a word that was just missing a letter, and so it was the word ancestral, it was missing the A, and so yeah, there's spacing errors, like there's many sentences that have 2 spaces in between 2 words, and there's one that's extremely notable relatively early on in the book. I don't know what page it is, but where there's just like a huge chunk of text in parentheses that's inserted within like another paragraph, and it's completely out of place. It looks horrible. But yeah, when I read it, I was just like, okay. So it's weird because like, I mean, it's not surprising because Chase U's other two books contain many errors as well. But it also kind of is because it's like, shouldn't they have worked extra hard to make this one error free? Apparently they didn't. Now again, it's still a great book, but I'll say there are many, especially grammatical errors. I suppose like I don't know what it's called, but there's one that I saw many times throughout the book, which was that Chase would, and many people make this error, and I'm pretty sure it is actually an error technically, although I think it used to not be. But people do this all the time, and this is definitely done within this book, where there'll be a sentence and there'll be a list of 3 items. It'll be like behavioral, social, and psychological, and there'll be a comma between behavioral and social, but not a comma between social and the word and. And so it's like, it just doesn't make sense because every time I read it, I'm like, no, that's just wrong. Like behavioral, social, and psychological. It's like, no, that doesn't make sense. It's behavioral, social, and psychological. So anyway, that one really, that's a pet peeve of mine. Just gonna be honest, but it's not a huge deal. I mean, ultimately, what I care about is can I understand what the author is trying to say? And I would say the answer is yes. Like pretty much everything he's trying to say, I can understand. Now, I will say there were a few times, especially today, especially when I was reading. I read the last about 110 pages today, and there were a few times where like there was a sentence where he would mention a there'd be a phrase or a technique or something like VAL model or something like that. Not that, but something like that. And I would just be like, what? Like, and I'd be confused because I don't remember him covering it in the book. So, I don't know. Maybe he did and I just forgot about it. That's very possible, but or maybe it's something that was done on purpose, and it's something that Chase covers in his courses. Because I know he has a course called Mastery, I think. Mastery. Yeah, right. Is that what it's called? It's here at the end. No, it's not there. Oh, it's not there. Yeah. So anyway, I may end up joining that program. Probably not. But it's possible. Apparently it's expensive as heck, but like Chase promises that it's the best decision you'll ever make in your life, which may be true, but ouch. I mean, the thing is though, I don't know. Ultimately, I enjoyed this book thoroughly. Let's see. I should talk more about what is in here. Can I? That's the thing. Can I? Like, I don't even know if I should or can. I mean, I can talk generally about stuff without going into specific methods or techniques. I'll say this. At the end of the book, Chase mentions, we're gonna put this to the test, y'all, because I'm determined to learn, hone, and master the techniques and potential skills within this book. Potential skills, whatever. So we're going to see if this is true. But Chase mentions at the end that this book contains information powerful enough to overthrow a government, as well as creating massive psychological shifts, something like that, in populations. And he said something. Oh, yeah. As well as the ability to make someone deviate from their normal behavior to such a high degree that they're almost unrecognizable. I'll just say that's just what, that's just what Chase claims about this book, if you're wondering. Is that true? I think so. Again, I haven't tested out all these techniques and fully done the hard work to see if these techniques work. But I'll say I have a feeling that statement is true. So I mean, we'll see, you know? 6 months from now, or a year from now, or when I've developed these skills, is a year a good amount of time? I don't know. I feel like I could develop these skills within a year. We'll see. I'll try to overthrow our government, and we'll see if it works. No, I'm just kidding. It's a joke, okay? I need water. It's a joke, okay? FBI watching me or whatever. No, I'm not even interested in politics or any of that stuff. But now, ultimately, what I plan to do with the information in this book is, well, acquire the skills first of all, and then second of all, just use it to try to teach people about psychology and behavior, and also help people with various psychological disorders or conditions. There's one person who I would say I'm friends with. He's also an extended family member of mine, who I'm thinking about trying a technique or two in here on, because I think he'd be open to it. He's very high in trait openness. So we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, I got like a minute and a half left, so I got to wrap this up apparently. But overall, this book is, I would say, incredible. It also seems, I'll say, very well researched. I think it seems very well researched. There's many references, and I've just my belief that Chase Hughes does know his stuff. He's like I said, he's not a fraud. I've made that video on my channel. Go check it out if you want. Like that belief is further solidified in me now. And I tried to be critical and unbiased when I read this book. I know I can't perfectly do that, but I tried to, and to actually like think, okay, is what Chase is saying in here logical? Does it make sense? And yeah, is it sensible? So overall, I would give this book, if it weren't for the freaking grammatical errors and other kind of errors, I would give it probably maybe a 10 out of 10. But I got to give it, I think, a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10, I would say. Great book, exceptional book, I would say. Who knows? Once I start actually developing these skills, maybe I'll be like, you know what, screw it, 10 out of 10. But once I realize, if they really are as powerful as he says. But anyway, I guess that's about it for this video. I feel like I really didn't talk about much in this book, but I don't think I should, because, well, there's a lot of information in this book that's dangerous. If you guys do this video, comment below. Let me know what other videos you want to see. And this camera's about to cut out. So, yeah, I will see you in the next one. Have an amazing day. Peace.